Hi, my name is Elijah Abney, and this is my presentation project for Kinesiology 3347. I was looking for a study, and I wanted to find something that showed how caffeine affected performance, just because growing up playing sports, I had one friend in particular who liked to drink energy drinks before we played, and I know there's a lot of sugar and other stuff involved in that, but he claimed that the caffeine was what really got him going and helped him perform better. And I've noticed that people in the gym will be drinking energy drinks, or I've even known people to take caffeine supplements before exercise, and I just was curious to see a study that proved what would happen there. And so this study that I chose is the influence of caffeine ingestion on strength and power performance in female team sport players. It was published to the Journal of the International Society of Sports Nutrition in 2016. The study conducted at Massey University in Auckland, New Zealand. There's a link to the study in the article right there in the slide as well. The purpose was just to examine the influence of caffeine supplementation on knee flexor and extensor strength before, during, and after intermittent running exercises to simulate similar to a soccer match. The women that were chosen for the experiment were 20 to 28 years old, within a range of 56 to 63 kilograms, and they were all team sport athletes. It varied a little bit. It wasn't entirely soccer, although primarily focused on soccer. There were also hockey players and netball players as well, and all of the women had to exercise 2 to 6 times per week. Participants with high caffeine intake were excluded as well, just as to better show the impact of supplemental caffeine on their performance. They couldn't have too much in their system already, so less than 300 milligrams daily. All participants had also been taking a similar form of birth control with the same hormonal composition for at least 3 months prior to testing. Something I learned through this trial is that birth control has an effect on the body's ability to break down caffeine, so I never knew that before, but that makes sense to keep everything even. And being females on this similar birth control, I feel like that kind of provided another level of really making an even study to have good results. And after they had the placebo or the caffeine supplements given to them, they waited about 60 minutes and then began their exercise regimen. The way that they conducted their trials were 3 different ways to test power and strength. They did running tests. They did 6 15-minute blocks of treadmill running, and it was designed to simulate activity pattern of a soccer match. Each block had 2-minute running stages, and it had ascending and descending varying intensities of the run, just to simulate a soccer match, having a sprint, maybe for the ball's coming your way to sprint and make a tackle, or then just kind of waiting in your position for a while to kind of stop and start, nature of soccer in particular. They had strength and power tests, so they had 5 reciprocal concentric and eccentric contractions of knee flexors at 30 degrees, and then also 5 isometric contractions at 75 degrees. They just measured the power that was produced. And they also had counter movement jump tests, jumps done on a jump mat to measure height of jump, and participants kept their hands on their hips to minimize upper body help in the jump height, to have a more accurate representation of what is actually coming from the power in their legs. The results, caffeine was proven to increase peak torque values for eccentric contractions. There was no significant findings in the area of isometric or concentric contractions, and there was no change on heart rate throughout the running as well. And so some applications to those findings is that caffeine ingestion was shown to enhance eccentric knee flexion and extension. So that has some implications in sprinting and kicking, which obviously are very important to soccer specifically. But over any sport, I think that performance would be better if you had any kind of running sport. Knee flexion and extension strength is very important and crucial to your balance and your ability to perform. And decreased eccentric knee flexor strength has been correlated to a higher risk of ACL tears. And so having strengthening in that would, in theory, reduce injury. And another aspect of caffeine is just your battling fatigue and helping you to feel more awake. So caffeine supplementation could also go into that area of injury that happens so commonly with people just feeling fatigued and losing control of their body entirely. This would help them to be stronger and to stay healthy better. So in theory, it could be a simple means to reduce non-contact injury. And that concludes the study on caffeine ingestion and its effect on the performance of female sports players. Thank you.